when I was living in Madrid for 6 years, one of the parents actually at the school I went to was the producer for Real Madrid TV, and during sixth form we had to get 2 weeks worth of work experience, and I just asked could I come along and just see what it's like, because I love football and I'd love to work inside football, and he said yeah, come along, and really I sort of just fell in love with it from then. My experience at Staffordshire University was brilliant. I had excellent lecturers, who had been there and done that in the journalism industry. They'd worked for the likes of, the BBC, ITV, Sky. So really, you couldn't get better advice, really, coming from people that had been there and done it. The facilities and, the people that worked in that department for me were brilliant. Matt and Chris, who work as the technicians for us on news days and are also there throughout the week to give you advice and help you with the technical side of things, really helped you. And, if you ever struggled or needed help with any of that, your lecturers were there, Matt and Chris were there, and the facilities as well. I remember when I was looking around, universities and going to the open days, staffs really stood out for me because of the facilities we had. You had all the up-to-date computers. The cameras you had were industry standard that you'd see the likes of Sky and BBC using. So they really sold it to me on that, and it was a brilliant experience. Following my graduation in July 2017, I've gone on to work as head of media and still work as head of media at Port Vale Football Club in Stoke. But it wasn't an easy journey to get here, really. It was, it took its time, and the one thing I've learned from this is you have to be patient. A job doesn't come straight away after you graduate, and just because you've graduated and got yourself a degree doesn't mean that you're entitled to get a job straight away. You have to be patient. You have to go through, the different stages. I had, a couple of interviews here and there which never really materialised until, the job as head of media at Port Vale popped up, and luckily enough I had a good portfolio from my time at Staffs Uni, including my dissertation and all the work I did for Staffs Live on the news days. And that was enough to, show them that I'm capable for this type of job. Relying on technology for me is, I wouldn't be able to do the job without technology. Media is all about technology. From doing a simple interview, you also need the editing software to get it up there on the likes of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. So social media is another one. The way people get their breaking news nowadays is very much reliant on the likes of seeing the news on Twitter. So technology for me is the number one thing that I need. There's not a day that goes by where I'm not using my laptop to get news up and content out there for fans. So yes, it's key really for this type of industry. But when I was at secondary school, I never really had this sort of opportunity. Maybe that's because my Spanish wasn't up to scratch and I didn't understand it. But no, I never really had this sort of opportunity, but I certainly would have taken the chance and entered, because when I get people asking me now, like, what sort of advice can I offer them to get into this sort of job role, I say, build up your experience, get as much experience as you can, because at the end of the day, the experience on your CV it's not going to harm you. It's going to help you more, and it shows that you've shown an incentive and a bit of an initiative to go out there and get the experience that you want. So I'd certainly encourage people to enter in this competition. It shows that you've got a willingness to stamp your mark on the industry and get the job that you want.